Hello there everyone and welcome back to another painting stream with me, Bachikolia. As usual, we will be making some progress on this Norse dudesman, where I decided that he would need just a few touches more highlights on what we previously considered done. Meaning mostly the blue and the grey. Also, since I haven't started on the browns, this is where I will start and then I will bring it back to the blues. But before that, how is everyone doing? How are you handling the heat if it's warm where you're from? How is it going? Is there anything of new, anything of old, anything at all that you would like to share? Me personally, I am gearing up towards my vacation days, where I can have a more serious sit down and get around to finishing up some chores related to the car, and of course finally get to the polls that I have promised for quite a long time now on Facebook, where you will be able to choose what will be the next painting project, what will be the next build project, and what will be the next game to play. And I'm also thinking of including, just to see what you will be interested to see from Blood Bowl, as in, would you like me to continue in Rebel in the main league? Or maybe have a off season where I take a look at the Lineman League or the Upstart. Because I am personally considering doing a little bit of a change, but we'll see about that. Also, I will put in some longer streams, hoping to make up for lost time regarding the painting of these dudesters. Because I am starting to run out of time, get them ready. There is about a month left before the World Cup, and I have this guy and two others that I need to paint by that time. I'd also want to include some of the tokens that come with the Kickstarter. Don't know if I'll have the time, not a big deal if I don't. But the dudesters definitely need to get done. Hopefully the camera will behave today as well. For reasons I am not able to explain, we are currently not getting the fully available options for the cam. So I am expecting it to start misbehaving at some point. But I will address it as the time comes. I don't think I'll be putting too many hours today, maybe just a couple of hours of painting. Trying to finish up with the non-metallic stuff. We can have then another stream where I will fix up the metallics and get him all ready for basing, so we can move on to the other pieces. That'll be nice, wouldn't it? I honestly can't wait to get some time off work, get a chance to focus a little bit on the hobby, and on some leisure activities as a whole. and as boring as it may sound, even get to catch up a little bit on sleep, as this has been a commodity that I am sorely lacking lately. So as previously mentioned, I'm going to tackle the browns now. Quite simply, I'm going for a rougher texture since they are worn leather. Well, I won't be bothering myself with that much medium, mostly just the usual layers, just a bit of scrag brown and deathclaw brown for the regular letters, and for all that is straps. As you can see, there are some deeper reddish browns here. I will tackle them with pretty much the same colors, but with adding a little bit of Mephiston red into them. Shouldn't take too long, just some basic quick highlights here and there. And then I'm going to lay down another layer of blue with Screaming Skull on top of the shoulder plate. And maybe the armbands get just a little bit more pop, and then I'll mix in some gray so that I can highlight some strands on the fur pelt. Again, nothing too serious, just a little bit of touching up here and there. Shouldn't take too long on the metallics either, so if everything goes right, I may even get him done in the next stream, which will probably be on Wednesday, since tomorrow I have my second game of the Rebel League. Where my humans will face off against a vastly superior Amazon team. So it'll be interesting to see how this fares out. I will probably get kicked in the dirt. Have an idea about a couple of inducements and maybe even drop the reroll, since this has constantly been a talking point whenever my team comes on the recaps on Twitch, that having 4 rerolls where one is a leader reroll is just unnecessary bloat. And while I do feel more comfortable with 4 rerolls, losing one will give me a little bit more inducement cash, so it'll allow me some more goodies. I will need to give it another thought through and through. I don't really want to give up the reroll. Like, I am a shit coach through and through. I make misclicks all the time, misplays, all that stuff. So having that little bit of extra security, I don't know if I'm ready to just let it all go for 50k of inducements. Although that bribe will definitely come in handy if I can muster it. But we'll see, there is time. It'll be a bit later than usual. It will start at 1900 UTC. We'll see how it goes though. There is some time by then, and I will also probably be a wee bit over enthusiastic, considering that I will be already off work for a week and a half. Is this paint already dead? No, it's not. It's still alive somehow. For some reason, this particular paint pot, the one of Scrag Brown, from a certain point onward just refuses to solidly close, no matter how much I clean it up. So I may need to buy another one very soon, and since browns are a fairly regular color for me to paint. And without further ado, let's put some paint on that palette. I think I can place it here. Yeah, you can see it's already not mixing as well. Trying up slowly but surely. So, a replacement may be needed sooner than anticipated. Wipe just the tiniest bit off so I can have a bit more control, and then we are going back into the highlighting. Right here, can't really understand what the hell this is. Yes, I am running a wee bit thick yet. Some more water may be appropriate. Since this paint cannot be shaken as well as the others, getting the consistently right, bit of a chore. Again, not really afraid about rougher texture, as this is in fact what I am going for. Hey there, Pig in Space. Glad you could join us. How are you doing today? Anything new? Anything of old? Or just another sunny day? Oh, that's good to hear. Things being in the balance. Oh, that far away from... That's awesome. How long has it been since the two of you met? Because I wouldn't suppose that this is a trip takes fairly often. Oh my, that is a solid half decade. Still, it's really nice to meet some old acquaintances. Hope it goes well. Um. Oh, okay, so... Still, though, if it makes you excited, it's always a good thing. I'm having a similar situation where a classmate from elementary school is coming home from the US, and the old gang are trying to get back together, have a small get together. Whoever is still in the country or will be available. So this should be fun as well. Hopefully I will make it, but if not, well, so be it. No, from elementary school, so grades 1 through 7. Somehow we have managed to stay in touch. So whenever someone is coming home, because most are, well, about half are living abroad. Whenever they come home, we try and have a little get together. See who's done what with their lives. Although, to be completely honest, I would prefer a smaller gathering, like just a person that's come back and have a seat, have a coffee or a couple beers, just... That being said, it's not really up to me in this case. I'm just trying to get a highlight on these boots, and at the same time add a little bit of roughness to the texture to give the impression of worn leather. Yeah, definitely. I'm not complaining that this will be the case. Sometimes though, sometimes you just... Depends on how close you were with the person, actually. If you were closer, it'd be better to just have a smaller get-together. If not, it'd be nice to see all the gang. Where do you think that it breaks cohesion? Because the rest of it feels pristine, or what? No, this... Oh, no, I see. This is unfortunately an effect from the camera. Yeah. It goes into yellows, so it's actually closer to the skin, to the flesh colors. Yeah, that's an imperfection of the camera settings that I made. Never thought it'd be this hard to get a good representation of the colors. Yeah, it's not the greenish brown. I haven't used greenish brown in a very long time. Last time I had it, it was with the Mr. Hobby line, and it definitely had its applications. But the GW ones that I use, the Citadels, they are significantly more yellowish. I really don't know why they... Maybe because of the palette being yellow in the background, it gives off a different perception. But yeah, I see what you mean. When I look at the preview, it does come off a bit on the greenish side. And then I will go back and highlight the blue a little more, because I did compare it. Yeah, it may be this, maybe that. Camera getting a bit confused. So I will go back to the blue then and add another layer of highlight, since as I compared what I did to the Blitzer, the Berserker, it was apparent that he has another layer of highlight that I missed. So I'll come back after the browns and handle that. And I will also highlight a few strands of the fur pelt. So just here in this sector, this and this, I will give it a bit of a edge brushing. If you haven't seen, I don't think I've done this technique on camera before, so it might be something new to see. Yeah, I'll show you as we get there. It's really easy and quick to do. So if things go well, today I will finish up with everything non-metallic, and on the next painting stream I should be able to finish up with the metallics, and maybe even base him so he would be all ready to go. Give him a good varnish, and it's onward to the last couple of dudesters. Well, it'll be a dude and one lady. Meanwhile, the Rebel Cripple Cup Edition 5 happened over the weekend. Unfortunately, I was traveling, so I couldn't play in it. But I have been watching the live recording session, and it is, as usual, this is a really fun one-day tournament to play in. But maybe next time, or rather the next one-day tournament that needs to come up is the Chaos Cup. Well, they announce it at a reasonable time that I can manage. I will definitely be playing that. So the Chaos Cup being a one-day tournament where the admin, there is a bot that generates random skills for your level ups, and you end up with really weird players. It's also played in a 1 minute format. Well, they don't go beyond what you can actually build. They go, let's say, they will not go. You won't get a human team with mutations, let's say. But aside from that, yeah, pretty much from all categories that they have access to, you pretty much roll the dice, and it won't give you, if you don't roll a double, it'll give you a random skill from the normals, and if you roll a double, it'll give you a random skill from the doubles. There is a little bit of priority here and there, such as movement or armor up, but either way, you get really freaky and non-optimal builds for your teams. I think they give you 2 games as admin wins, so you can get some SPP right off the start. You run them in the bot, your results, and it gives you what skill you need to assign. But we'll see when it happens. It still hasn't been announced. It's just that they usually do them. Well, maybe they will be, maybe they won't be. They're random, so chances are you could or could not. Like, you could get a sure hands ogre for your human team or something along those lines. You could, of course, get block. That's not out of the question. It is on the table from which the bot generates the skills. But also, when you add the fact that it works in the 1 minute format for the matches, you do realize that this is more along the lines of a fun tournament rather than highly competitive gaming. And usually it takes up to 8 hours and about 7-ish games. So first you have some qualification games, such as, so there are usually about 3 people in a group, and from that group the winner and maybe the second place, depending on how the other goes and if there are any dropouts, go into a winner's bracket. Monkey, yeah, no, I will be my own monkey today. You want to do something right, do it yourself. Well, it won't be right, but it'll still be only you to blame, so today I will be doing my own monkey business. As per usual. With varying results. So that's pretty much Good Omens series. Doesn't ring a bell. What's it about? I have been keeping my eyes out on the boys. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the series, but it does look like a decent superhero type X-Men thing. Oh yeah, you did mention that. You did mention that. No, I haven't really checked it out. So you're saying it's good then? Oh, nice. You do sometimes get a bit of a hankering for that specific type of English humor. Definitely not something you can stomach every day, but every now and again it does the heart good. Like when you reminded me to watch. Ooh, that's nice. Christian and Lovecraftian, yeah. He did like mixing and matching things in his parodies. It's interesting how, taking bits and pieces from here and there, he actually managed to build a very interesting world. And even though it's hodgepodge from who knows where, it does seem coherent and it does work in its own. It functions like a living world. Very Discworld really is really good. Alright, this does create basis for some foolishness, I can say. Sadly, I'm not really well versed in the Lovecraftian mythology, so quite a few of the jokes might go over my head, and still. It would definitely be worth a watch. Well, they do that for pretty much anything, don't they, nowadays? I do doubt that Netflix will abide to this. They have had a reputation of being the place where you can actually make some rather non-censored content to decent overall effect. So I hope they don't yield on this and stand firm, pun intended. Oh, definitely. But even if they did, I think that the outroar will be even harder. I don't know why some people just can't take a joke or just accept creative freedom for what it is. I did rewatch Dogma a couple of months ago, where God was effectively Alanis Morissette. Yeah, exactly. That's instantly what springs to mind. Dogma is awesome, like one of those old comedies that just didn't give a fuck. It just went all in. With the shit demons and the stripper muses and fallen angels and all that beautiful stuff. And the prophets. Only thing they may have gone too far with was getting Chris Rock involved. I really, really find that guy annoying. Like, as oh hell annoying. It's even hard for me to stomach him. Well, the 13th Prophet, he was in Dogma. Um, Essentially, yes, I was avoiding that direct description, but yeah, him. It's just his voice is so annoying, so high pitched and intense at the same time. Yeah, he did make sense. I just in general find him annoying. He does have some really good stand-up comedies though. Some good stand-up routines. Probably. Probably. And yeah, they did get quite a few when you think about it. Like the angels and the main Hierophant angel or whatever. Pretty big names all across the board. Still though, it is a jewel of a movie, and for anyone watching who is, or maybe a bit too young to have caught the movie when it came out, I definitely advise and recommend it. Give it a watch, especially if you're not too deep into religious stuff and would like to see a rather funny little twist on it. And as far as I can tell, how did you say this was called? Herpter. Good Omens. Yeah, Good Omens. Just looking for the name of the series that you mentioned. So Good Omens as well should be something worth the watch. Yeah, well, the movie adaptations do water down a little bit the content. Really? Didn't know that. That being said, I don't know many people who don't like Pratchett. As a matter of fact, I don't think I can think of even a single one off the top of my head. But then to each his own and his tastes, but just haven't come across. Oh, that's good. So there is someone from the inside, so to speak. guided. Cause yeah, the other. For instance, the last movie adaptation that I remember was Going Postal, I think, which was nice, but it felt a little bit watered down. Like the humor wasn't as sharp as it usually is in the books. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely will check them out. I just need to watch the last final couple of games of the Cripple Cup that I missed, and I will get right on that. Gotta get something out of that Netflix subscription, am I right? So now for the leather parts. Gonna use again the brown. Yes, here I think you can see better how the brown color actually looks like without the greenish tint. This is pretty much how it looks like. I think it's closer to the original, yeah. When I water it down on the yellow palette and with all the blue, they get a little bit lost. And it is also really thick because the lid is a bit defective. And I cannot manage to close it. I don't. No, it is close to that, but then again, most browns would fit that description. I don't actually think that there is a type of brown that couldn't be compared to any sort of shit, just because that shit does come in a wide variety of tones. But I do use it quite often. Yeah. And add a little bit of red. There's some interesting trivia for you. Is that in the top or the bottom of the column? The last part, yeah. Okay. Right. And here you see the issues of trying to mix in a layer paint with base coat paint. The pigmentation of the base coat is quite a bit stronger, so even in cases where I just need a little bit, I need to go back and forward. If I want to tone down the layer instead of tone up the base color. I did not know that this is what it was called. Oh yeah, anyone joining in, you can also get to learn some stuff about your own bodies that you may or may not have known. We're educational here. I'm going to praise this brush once again, as I have been doing these same detailings on other models with different brushes, and with this one I can say is significantly easier. Sadly, I am not sponsored for this praise, but you can take it as it is. Yeah, it would be nice to get sponsored by some products, wouldn't it? And as a matter of fact, there are ways. So specifically for these brushes and the paints that are being made by Slow Fuse Gaming, which is now Monolith, whatchamacallit, they have a sub-community for promoting each other, and if you're part of it, you do get some of their products. You need to be quite a bit deeper into the whole streaming thing. Oh no, they just give out some samples. I have been eyeing the paints that they produce either way, because they don't have this delineation between layers and bases, so they have the same pigment consistency and they don't come off as rough with if you put too little water or thinner, meaning it's easier to get good blending and good transparent layers of paint on the model. which is good if you want to do highly detailed models with a lot of color variations. But if you want to knock out some quick tabletop ready stuff, I don't think that they would be applicable. But for my type of painting, I think that they will do very good work. But I'm not ready to change my paint line just yet. Most of my Citadel bottles, pots, aren't even halfway empty, and to just put them in redundancy will be a very ineffective financial idea. As I mentioned before, just putting some rough highlights here and there. Trying to go for a little bit of contrast, not too much. Just to make the detail a little bit more visually appealing. Especially here, you won't even get to see it all that much. If you do decide to get a deeper look in, you will see a bit of a worn leather effect. It's one of the few effects that I have managed to consistently make to a level that I don't hate. Oh, I like it when I have the opportunity to put it to use. No, the actual opposite. So I like how it comes out. Although I do think I can make it better if I just highlight everything the same way and then apply the washes as I did in the start. And that'll do it pretty much. Few quick highlights here. And that's pretty much it. For the browns. So now I'll get back to the blue. And the way I see it, I might actually get to start on the metallics. By the way, as I mentioned, the Chaos Cup and the Cripple Cup, would you have any interest in that sort of format of a game for Blood Bowl? one. But it is understandable because they try and get the whole tournament done in a day, in about 8 hours. So you would understand that. No, okay. It is a little bit crazy from that point, but for most of these tournaments, it is actually a sort of a sort detail because they are going for a bit more chaotic, a bit less pedantic plays. And I use it as an opportunity to get it a little bit therapeutic, so less stressful, as you're aware that you wouldn't be able to play very focused. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. You just need to play an automatic the entire time. So the second you start actually thinking about a play, you're already half your turn down. You're pretty wild. Some people do manage to get quite decent plays off. But I am nowhere near that. I played in the previous Cripple Cup and somehow I managed to get into the winner's bracket and then lose my first game and just be, because it's knockouts, so once you get into a bracket, the first game you lose, you're out of the tournament. I don't know, I find it to be a fun experience. What will be our next colors? Definitely good old Screaming Skull. And Calgar Blue. With a good amount of medium to get a smooth blend going. As you can see here on this Berserker, the tops of the shoulder pads are clearly brighter than the one I'm currently painting. Also, the fur pelt has highlights that are more contrasty, so I will try to match that as well. Unfortunately, I can't get audio ducking for this system because I need an additional mixer. But I do think it is when I start to speak, any noise in the background automatically lowers down. Audio ducking is the term. So for instance, the music will get quieter as I speak, and when I keep quiet it goes up, and I think, yeah, probably. But unfortunately, since the audio from the mic and the audio from the desktop go into the system separately, I can't get them to work off another, so I can't apply audio ducking. I have to have a mixer where they both go in, so an application where or some hardware where they will go in simultaneously, and then I can apply it to that. Because I can hear the music volume is a bit inconsistent, and so sometimes I would need to speak louder in order to overcome the background music, which shouldn't be the case. Like this song, for instance, is noticeably louder than the previous. But I don't really think I would get into this whole thing. Like, getting additional sound equipment and the like. This is unnecessary for the moment. But I've been thinking about it just from a few streams ago. I noticed it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, most of them are, so what are you gonna do? I still haven't checked the ones you mentioned, like, what was it, Dionysian? Problem is that lately, whenever I watch streams or games of Blood Bowl, I get a very... Oh, okay. I get a noticeable itch to actually play the game. And so I have been thinking about starting... Oh, you can usually tell by the accent, like it's noticeably different. So I might go into CCL for a while. Maybe after this season of Rebel, I might skip the next season and try my hand at CCL. Careful. Oh, okay. Well, that is... Depending on... So if you're trying to build a wider audience, this is usually how you go for it. Rebel are trying to keep the streams family friendly, although you can imagine that in a game of dice that is full of frustrations, keeping it down. True, but they are not going for a family-friendly audience anyway, so they are just going for the Blood Bowl players that they can get, and are relying on the Davos title. So most people come to actually learn the game rather than just watch the plays, as in just waste some time watching Blood Bowl. He also does some on YouTube. He has some race guides. He has some tactical analysis of some games, and they're pretty nice actually. He is, yeah, definitely. He is pretty offensive, and he has explained that. on a couple of occasions, like why exactly he prefers an aggressive playstyle rather than a passive one. I can't really remember now. I don't know, dude. I'm definitely not one to be able to give any comment on that. But you might want to check out the tactical replays he does. There are some good ideas there. Like watching formations and overall concepts of the play. Shit. I haven't really checked out the race guides because they are for races that I'm not really into. But people do tend to like them. I really need to get some eyedroppers. These are already busted. I mostly watch his stuff on YouTube whenever I'm at work, just as a background, mostly just listening to what's going on. Because it's always more fun to have a co-caster along with you. Especially in games that require you to stay silent for a while and think about moves. As it keeps up the dynamic and doesn't let the stream just wander off. Well, it does wander off in different themes, but it doesn't stagnate. Whereas, for instance, I've caught myself during plays that I mostly either stay completely silent or just repeat the same few lines ad infinitum, which is not the best viewing experience. But this is what you get when you try to learn as you go. It'll improve. And even if it doesn't, well, it is something that I ultimately do for fun. Yeah, that too. But still, you should be able to make a one-man show sufficiently entertaining on your own. Yeah, definitely the monkey bit. The hat is weird. Like, I know that what you mean in this case, but if you notice, there are a lot of painters that use hats on their streams, because they have their lighting set up in a weird way, and they are actually protecting themselves to not get too hot. But lots of painting streams do tend to do that. Yeah, yeah. But this is, however, the practical aspect of it. So, in cases for gaming, this is mostly just a gimmick, like the one that you're probably referring to when that you said about the inquisitorial person. Because I can tell you that really, especially in this weather, uh, it does get really hot under these lights. And that is with me using just two lights, whereas just one is actually aimed at me, and that's from a good distance. And you can really feel it after a while. So, something I've heard for painting, trying to get longer lines instead of focusing on shorter ones. Oh, it's not that bad. It's just that it does accumulate some additional heat. Because otherwise, if I turn off the light that is aimed at my face, you probably wouldn't be able to see me at all. But yeah, essentially, in order to get smoother transitions, you need to draw longer lines, and in order to... Painting incognito, it's always an option. Oops, sorry. It's always an option. I just opted for the more visual aspect. Yes, I'm not really either painting all that well or playing all that well. I might as well try and introduce a bit more character by getting my face in. Yeah, exactly. Although, as many say, I have a face for radio. It does help. And naturally, I did screw up the transitions here. Because why wouldn't I? Well, this is the beauty of painting, you just go over it. Back and forward until you get a result that you are not happy with, then at least something you can live with. Yeah. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna use this highlight to go below the waist, as I am treating this as an extreme highlight, so I'm just going to put in a few dots here on the armbands. The very tops here and there. And that'll probably do it. I'll just catch the absolute top here on the belt buckle, because it is a sharper edge, even though it doesn't catch as much light. It would affect the overall impression. Nah, that'll do it. Ooh, that is spicy. No, I think that as long as there is such a stigmata, just overall harsh response to parodies of this type, I don't think we will be seeing it anytime soon, or if we do, it'll be something that gets taken down like in a moment. Because if you think about it, and if you make a little bit of background checking, for the majority of the Christian parodies and comedies, they are actually made by Jews, people of Jewish faith, and they are in this weird position where you can't exactly call them non-Christians, but they are not exactly Christian either, so it's a very interesting middle ground where they are just enough into the whole thing so that you can't exactly use the same criteria as you would for other religions. Oh. Well, wouldn't that be pretty much just, I don't know, their mythology as a whole? Because when you think about it, all that, the genies, the Afrits, and all of that, they do come from there. I would suppose he does, yeah. I don't know, maybe someday, after a few regimes have gone and went, it wouldn't be such such a tough thing to pull off and make admissible. But for now, there's just no way. As you said, secret police needs to get involved just to keep the dude alive, so... Not really worth it, if you ask me. Oh wait, I was going to do the gray, wasn't I? Oh yeah, now the shoulder pads are definitely brighter. And although right now they seem really bright, the varnish will bring them down significantly, and they will end up looking like this. As you can see, there is a certain amount of distortion, and this comes from the layer of varnish. Although, if I had to do the same project again, I would definitely have the extreme highlights more focused, though it wouldn't go over this much surface. But in order to keep up cohesion with the other models, I am doing it like that. Because I really shouldn't be afraid to go to extreme. Greenish? Okay. Yeah, it kind of affects the skin too. Yeah. This however I am a little bit afraid to try out. So changing the color when you actually change the highlight level, making yes, making different color transitions, so it's going from green to blue to whitish. It is definitely possible, and once again, if you check out Slow Fuse, he usually, that's how he paints. He has at least a couple of color transitions, but then again, he is mostly painting one-off models or really small squads, as in 3 to 6 miniatures. So he does take his time with them, and he does do some amazing stuff like that. Like he would start with brown, like a deep brown, and take it up to a light turquoise or something like that, and it looks amazing, but I couldn't pull that off in a million years. I just need to know a lot more about color theory in order to get anything even remotely close to this. Because you need to go through a variety of colors in order to build that up. It's not just a matter of going lighter brown, add a bit of turquoise, add more turquoise, and then at the end add white to the turquoise. Like, it's more to it than that. Well, I can just use color shift paints, but I always am a little bit ambiguous about color shift paints. Not really keen on most of what they do as an effect. Oh, let me check. So we have chip tunes. They're mixed, chill, happy, synthwave, rock, pop, hip hop, EDM, ambient, epic, upbeat, hype, and that's pretty much it, unfortunately. I'm currently playing the synthwave. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's try ambient. Make things a bit more mellow. See how this goes. Ah, there we go. Mellow out the atmosphere a little bit. Not that it was particularly upbeat to begin with, but still. There should be a bot I can add that would allow song requests. However, they would be from the same pool of songs. So I don't think that there would be that many people that are aware of them to request them. Dungeon music, is that like something to play? Even darker ambient. Oh, that's cool. You can play it during D&D sessions. I've been smacking my desk all day. Yeah, too. That too. I still remember the documentaries about Blue Oyster Cult being framed for suicides, also AC/DC, and that makes literally no sense whatsoever. Like, people will do anything to try and ban some kind of music. And who the hell would commit suicide on listening to AC/DC? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think they did bring most of them to court. By the way, there is an awesome interview. Oh, which cover? Right. There is an awesome case where when Dee Snider, the singer from Twisted Sister, was in court and he had to defend the music genre as a whole, and he just obliterated the prosecution. It's a really fun watch. Yeah, there are snips of it here and there. It's fun. So the technique that I was mentioning earlier, it's just it's not quite dry brushing, but you do take some thicker paint on your brush and you use the side of the brush to catch the raised areas. So in this case, that'll be here. So just very lightly go over and it catches them. And it catches the raised surfaces. And if you don't press down too hard, you can actually get some pretty fine detailing done. It still damages it because you're not supposed to use the side of the bristle to paint. It's more controlled than the dry brush and it doesn't leave the chalky after effect. And this is actually what you would mostly use when you go for edge highlighting, like on Space Marines and the type. And if you don't have the subtlety, the motor control required to actually use the tip of the brush to draw the edge highlight, this is a decent substitute for it. But it is a rather technical method, as in it does fall under the dry brush type, so it's something you usually do to get things done quick and easy rather than hyper precise. But again, I wouldn't be caught dead trying to paint individual strands of fur. So this will have to do. Also, unlike the dry brushing, you don't go against the grain, so perpendicular to the raised surface, you go along it. And you do get a little bit of separation here and there. Oh, it is a quick and easy effect. I have quite honestly forgotten to use it. Hey there, it's Anif. How you doing? Glad you could join us. We have gone through quite a few hot topics. And I'm currently just explaining the side brush highlighting. Oh really? Grats. Oh, that's not good. Oh, it's always horrible when it's summertime and you get the flu, because it feels really, really bad. So really sorry to hear that, and I hope that you heal quite fast. So what were you facing off against? Oh, that would have been bad no matter what you have. Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, strength on elves should be banned, even though I have a strength 4 blitzer on the dark elves. Like, that is just not fair. Yeah, so I think that's all I'm gonna do here. It's just a little bit of extra. Oh, nice! What? Cheney has catch? Nice. So did you have to score on him and waste the SPP game? Oh, so he didn't catch it, right. Yeah, got it. Well, still a draw with a rookie team against, well, essentially a rookie team after all of the casualties. Against such a monster of a team. Quite an achievement. Congrats. For real. So was he strength 3? I really don't know his stats. Strength 4. Oh yeah, in that case I can see why. And he has wrestle if I'm not mistaken, so he has, yeah, frenzy claw catch. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, he's definitely a good one in this case. So now you said that you have a couple of weeks off before next season? Are you gonna keep playing, or would you take a bit of a break now? Oh, you're keeping going. Okay. I'm thinking about switching out next season for Rebel and going into one of the minor leagues that it offers, like maybe try out the Lineman League, or be completely insane and try for Imperium, which is the thing that they made up, that is like a card collecting game where you make teams based on what cards you have. And we did miss the clan signups again this time around. Couldn't get the Bulgarian clan going. But there's always next season. Yeah, for some reason Lineman League sounds very appealing for me. I want to try out a team made up entirely of thralls, vampire thralls. Let's see how far I can get them. Other minor leagues are Upstart. So you have some small short leagues that are with a different starting value. So you have Upstart from 1,000 TV up to, I think, 1,500, maybe even 2,000 that you can play in. And there is also the excessively elfy league, where I think you have to play an elf team. But there are some options here and there. And of course there is that Imperium thing, which really sounds fun, but it uses an entirely different website and software for you to generate your cards and keep track of the money you have for buying booster packs and oh, that sort of stuff. Also, notable players from the Rebel main league. So if some player makes a really strong impression on people, you can get him as a star player card. I think there is a lot of potential, a lot of fun, but since it's not really a built-in system, it's sort of a drag to get going. Or I can just hold hard and keep up with the main league. We'll see. Maybe I will include this in the polls that I'll be doing in the next couple of days. Alrighty. Have a productive painting session. Alright, no worries. Cheers. I won't really be up too long either. Probably about half an hour. Maybe start on the metallics or something, just get things going a little bit. Yeah, and all these leagues, these sub-leagues, they really do sound fun, but all of them are on a weekly basis. And so taking on more than a couple is really hard on your schedule. Like, I can feel it even with the main league, which is just one game per week. With having to schedule it with your opponent, who is usually a good 3 hours off from your current time zone. Even though I am playing in the European divisions, it's still a drag, and it's still something that you feel a little bit as a chore. But then again, when I've been left to my own devices to play Blood Bowl on PC, I rarely ever do. Like, there's nothing stopping me from playing a couple of games here and there in CCL or Open or Cabal Open, but I just never do. So from that point, I think it's a good thing to have a scheduled match, just so you keep up a little bit of experience, like build up some momentum. And it's very easy to overcommit, and then you have to drop off, and then people get buy-ins, and then they'll get to play their games and get admin results. I gotta be rather careful. The 1-day 30s are a good thing in Rebel. And they do start them at different times. So if one tournament favors the European players, coaches, then the next one will favor the Americans, and one will favor the APAC ones. Or there is this type of balance and justice in the world. You can call it that. I'm not saying that to attract more people into it, especially not the ones that currently in chat, as we've had this discussion before. I'm just stating some overall impressions that I've had. I am getting a little bit tired of that human team. Doesn't really work out the way I wanted. And now, because of the movement up and agi up catcher, I am dreading every game. I'm actually gonna be really happy once he gets killed off, because that's one less player that I have to constantly watch over. And I can just focus on actually playing and winning the game instead of protecting a player with the hopes that he may come in handy at some point. So yeah, it will definitely be a relief once he gets deaded. The pseudo gutter runner. Could get a bit of a highlight on the fangs. Just a little bit here. I can go in with the brush. And I do remember our bet with Pig in Space that if I manage to beat a Camry team during the World Cup, I will be painting a scarab on this medallion. Yeah, that'll do it. It'll be weird tomorrow evening if I don't change the music, having this relaxing ambient as background to a Blood Bowl game. Though it might fit, who knows. Cleaning up my brush a little bit. I should give them a thorough washing very soon with some brush soap. I can see some good paint buildup. So yeah, I don't think I'll start with the metallics today, as we will go a bit over. I want to focus on getting through tomorrow, and then I can get some better streams in. Because I am still in this stage where I have to put in some overtime at work, and it's wearing me out quite consistently. I don't want to force myself with painting too much or going too long in stream. Either way though, the non-metallic details are now done. Covered up the boots and the letters and the straps, and I did force a bit more with the blue, and I got a little bit of highlights on the fur, just a little bit, but that'll be good. Yep. So next time it shouldn't really take long. There aren't that many details metallic to go through. The silvers should be really quick and easy to fix, and the golds will just take a couple coats. And he will be done for basing. As soon as I get him up on this base here, put his number on. And that'll be another one ready to go. As previously mentioned, the next one that will be painted is this guy, who for some reason is still a lineman. And then I would need to make a decision on whether or not paint. Oops. Her as a final lineman or her. Not really decide what I would like to go for. I think maybe her. Yeah, I think I'll do her. Big in space, if you're still in chat, do you have any preference for the hair color? Because I am drawing a little bit of a blank on my side. I've done red hair, I've done blonde, I've done black. What else is there to go for? Maybe brown hair? Don't think I've got brown hair. Oh, I have the elves that have brown fur and hair. Should I go for another redhead? Or another blonde? Or just black? Because I think he is the only one with black hair in the team. So maybe a second one wouldn't hurt. Because I have two blondes, two redheads, two carrot tops. Or maybe black again. With a bit more attention to highlighting and bringing it down with blue. To make the strands of hair a bit more prominent. And it seems that I haven't For whatever reason, I haven't filed the gap fillings on her. Who else did I? I don't know. Or should I go for her with the helmet? And the pigtails. Either or. Any preferences? Or just do both of them and not do the fat guy? Like this dude. And leave him for later. Well, there is still time to decide. Still though, if anyone has any opinion to express on the matter, more than welcome to do so, as it'll help me out quite a bit. I should paint them all one way or another, but just for the final one, it needs to be done on a timetable. Both of the women, and skip the fat guy. Okay. Yeah, because he will be a bit difficult to explain. He will be a bit difficult to explain because he does look something between a berserker and an elf. So it'd be harder to get across. I would need to get particular explanations. So okay, yeah, good. I'll do the two checks. But now the issue is that I have to think of two hair colors. And I was already stuck on the one, so that doesn't make things easier. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't look like a standard lineman. Although the sculpt is really good and I like this mini. He doesn't quite fit the description. Okay, I will do the line women instead. Just gotta get him off the painting. Cork. I will try to put up the polls by the end of the week. And I will leave another week for the time to respond. And I'll see then how I can mix the results in the stream sequencing. Should be fine though, like at first the first pick will be a secondary and then it will go into primary rotation. That shouldn't be much of a problem. I did kind of hope that I would be further along with this team by this point, so I would end the surge as well, so I could make the change happen faster. maybe over the course of my off working days. I will get more work done so I can do the last 2 alignment quicker, meaning that I will have to skip the markers entirely. For now at least. But it's still fine, I guess. Sorry, what? Yeah, so tomorrow is my last day before the vacation days. And I'll have a week and a half. So I'll try to get in my game with Boyan. And a game with you for Necromunda. And well, pretty much anything that we feel like, yeah. Just have a few chores that I need to take care of, and then I should be good to go. Try and get most things done by Saturday. We'll see. Here's hoping that I will. Either way, I think that this will be it from me for today, for tonight. And tomorrow I will be back a little bit later, so from 1900 UTC, which is 10 o'clock in the evening local time, for my game against those vicious Amazons. I am, as usual, very grateful to everyone who joined, everyone who participated in chat, and everyone who also lurked in the background, as well as to all potential viewers on YouTube. And to all of you, I wish a good and pleasant rest of your evening. Keep doing what you love, loving what you do, and this has been Bachocolio, signing out. Bye guys.